is the bullpen. You know, every season, before it even begins, I would say before preseason even begins, like, or you can go to the fall. One of the questions everyone always asks is, hey, what's the bullpen look like? What are the roles? Who's going to close out the game? Who's your middle relief? When should you have that established by? We all want it so instant. We all want that done immediately and for it to just never change. In a lot of the ways, it's similar to the batting lineup. But the bullpen, more often than not, in baseball, not just college baseball, in baseball in general, is an evolution over the course of the season. This one might have taken a little bit longer than others have, but every year, the bullpen is an evolution. Look at the early part of this year. You know, I remember on Musso at the Box when I was talking about this team preseason, I said, nobody better tell me this is a young team, because they're not a young team. You brought in a lot of veteran transfers. You had returners coming back that contributed. They're not. I said, but the one place I'll consider that argument is in the bullpen, because you were looking at 4 true freshmen, right? Schmidt, Evans, Rzzy, and Williams that were going to contribute for you. And it was gradual early, but what you did find early is Cowan and Evans. And you knew, okay, those are the guys that can end this for you in a hurry when you need it done. But even their role evolved. But what you're seeing now, and I have 4 guys in particular that I want to mention. But what you're seeing now is further evolution and even a further paring down of the arms that LSU is using, showing they trust, and going to more often than not on the weekend in the SEC. And I'm going to start with Maverick Rzzy. And look, that's an easy place to start because he was absolutely phenomenal against Texas A&M in that first game. But when you dig a little bit deeper, it's been really good for Maverick Rzzy for a while now. This is a guy who's got 18 appearances, y'all. He is tied for the team lead in appearances this season. They have continued to run him out there and run him out there multiple times in a week, waiting for it to kind of click and start to come along, and it has. And the first time you really saw it was on the road at Auburn, where he threw the 2 innings of 1-run ball, punched out, was it like 5 or 6 in that game? He was awesome. And then, you know, another solid outing in the midweek against McNeese. Came in Alabama, got out of a bases loaded jam during game 3. Hung a 0 for you there. Had the stinker against Northwestern, but let's be honest, this entire team had a stinker against Northwestern. The Tennessee game for him, bit of a mixed bag maybe. Came in, got you out of a bases loaded jam in that one, but then when they brought him back out for the second frame, it got away from him a little bit. And then you have Texas A&M. But overall, through that little stretch, there's a lot of zeros and in big moments. And in some cases, y'all, that Tennessee outing for him where he got you out of the bases loaded jam and then it got away from him a little bit, helped prepare him for that outing at Texas A&M. You could do that at home in front of 10,000 people at the Box. Then you take it on the road to Bluebell, where everyone's against you, and you turn in that outing, and it's like, okay, yeah. And it makes a lot of sense because the stuff you're seeing from Rzzy is so much better. The velocity is more consistent now, up to 96, 98 regularly. The fastball is showing great run down away from the left-handed hitter and even some sink, and the slider's becoming more crisp. And that's why I look at Maverick Rzzy and I go, yeah, that's sustainable because you're just seeing consistency, not necessarily in performance, but in the stuff he's running out there, and that's going to lead to consistency in performance. And that's a guy they've already gone to plenty. Jaden N is another one. And this is where you can really see the further paring down for LSU. Jaden N against Southeastern was incredible. That was the best outing of his career. The fastball got up to 97, but it regularly sat 95, 96, which is much more akin to what you saw from him out of high school before he signed with LSU. And the splitter's gross. But the way it looked coming out of his hand, kind of like what we just talked about with Maverick Rzzy, it just looked so much more crisp, and he was great there. He actually pitched really well against Northwestern State. He might be the only one that didn't have a stinker. The runs scored after the rain delay. They were the inherited runners that Newt gave up. But he kept the consistency and the stuff from that Southeastern game to Texas A&M. And what I want you to do is I want you to remember the spot they brought him in that third A&M game. There were runners at first and second, and the two-hole hitter Wyatt Hensler up in a one-run ball game. That is a prime Connor Binge spot. Like, that is the spot they'd been bringing Connor Binge in regularly this season to put fires out. Connor Binge has not pitched for this team since Northwestern State. And that's two really big series against Tennessee and A&M. They are further paring down who they're using. They went to Jaden Newton that spot, gave him the opportunity, and he succeeded. And ended up giving you almost 2 innings. Had the strikeout total working again and all the stuff. That's huge going forward for you because not only can Jaden Newt serve much more as a bridge, as can Maverick Rzzy. Like, those two can give you inning in the third, inning in 2/3, serve as a bridge to get you to Cowan or maybe even Evans, depending on the situation. But Jaden Newt can also extend because he's gone 3 1/3 at points this year in the midweek. He gives you a multifaceted weapon. And then the other thing that's been huge for me for this bullpen is the lefties. If you've been listening to Musso at the Box, you know that is one of my biggest concerns for this team was a reliable left-handed option out of the bullpen. And right now, you have found 2. Not 1, but 2. And they are DJ Primo and Cooper Williams. And y'all, with Cooper Williams, you realize he's got a 1.5 ERA in his freshman year? That's limited action. But they're using him as a matchup lefty. And he's really succeeding right now because he's throwing more strikes. Cooper Williams has not given up an earned run in his last 3 outings. You brought him in to strike out Jace Laviolette the other day. He did that. You brought him in to get Caden Sorrell a game before that. He did his job, got the fly ball. It was just misplayed in center field. No earned runs in his last 3, and it's been a lot more strikes. 5 pitches against Laviolette, 3 of them were strikes. Against Tennessee, when you brought him in, 9 pitches, 6 strikes. Hangs a 0. That's what you're looking for because this stuff's plenty good enough. The ERA tells you that. The opponent's batting average tells you that. When he's in the zone, it's really good. Right now, he's in the zone. That's a huge development for this team. The other one's DJ Primo, and it's a similar story. DJ Primo has not given up an earned run in his last 3 outings. And DJ Primo has not issued a walk in his last, count it up here, make sure I have it correct, 7 outings. More strikes, lefty matchups, and Primo's even shown the ability to give you a full inning and maybe a little extra off of that. But that's a huge development. The one other thing I would tell you, man, if Chase Shores found something this weekend in College Station, he can carry that forward as a big bullpen piece for you. That's massive. I thought he looked great. First batter was rough. After that, what was it, 5, 6 set down in a row? Last hitter of the game he punched out that he faced. That could be another big weapon. But what you're seeing is they've really started to identify the guys they really trust here now down the stretch. We all want it immediately, and I get it. It's not always immediate, but it is happening. And I feel pretty confident the last 2 weeks in that LSU bullpen. They had the bad 8th inning against Tennessee in game 2. Outside of that, your pitching staff pitched to a 2.5 ERA. You saw what they did last week against A&M. My confidence is growing in that unit. And it's because, you've settled in. Rzzy, Ware, Cowan, maybe Evans, Primo, Williams, Chase Shores. That'll get it done if you can continue to see the consistency from those guys, which you should, because it's far from just the performance on the field. It's the consistency and stuff that you're seeing from all four of those guys that we just ran through. A big weekend. We got plenty more baseball coming for you here on this show. Right now, though, we will grab a break. We will come back on the other side. Saints Open Rookie Minicamp. Ross Jackson, Locked on Saints, LouisianaSports.net. He's here to chop it up with us next on AFR.
After further review.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Get them by Glow Resources or go to GlowResources.com. If you're a business owner and you want to be more efficient, maybe you're really struggling to find the right person in your job at your place to make your business more efficient. Maybe you're struggling to find people who are responsible, people that show up on time, people that are efficient when they work. You ever had a job where you think, man, that should have been done in 2 hours and it takes 8 hours? Well, what if you had the right people to get that done? I'm telling you, Glow Resources can find them. And while their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, which I love about them, by the way, they've got offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, in New Orleans, in the Golden Triangle, and they service businesses all over the world. So no matter where your business does business, if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Good Wood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now, shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes a dollar from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take a dollar until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com.
Back here after further review on a Thursday, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Musso in for Moscona. Moscona is back on Monday, so I'm taking over here for you for the next 2 days. The New Orleans Saints, they opened rookie minicamp here on Thursday. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Saints. Go ahead, subscribe. Listen if you don't. You should. He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola, and he joins us now. Ross, how are you? Happy Cam Jordan Day, Ross.
Happy Cam Jordan Day,
Yep.
buddy. Thanks for having me on, man. Glad to be here with you.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk some rookie minicamp, because I look at this one, Ross, and I think it's one of the more intriguing ones in a while. First of all, they made all 9 picks, and you got 9 guys there, and then you have 11, undrafteds, and then you have a new coaching staff and everything in that regard. How important for the Saints is this year's rookie minicamp?
I think it's really important. I think you're hoping that this 9-person draft class, or at least some large portion of it, ends up being sort of that youth the New Orleans Saints could use at this time, a la 2017, 2006. You can look at other drafts before then as well. But I think this is a really important one, and really kind of the end-all be-all here when it comes to that conversation is Tyler Shuck, right?
Yeah.
Amongst all the players at any position in which you hope that you land your future something, it's typically the quarterback position. And so that ends up making this draft class the one that includes the highest selected quarterback since 1971 in the NFL draft, not including the supplemental draft, which would go back to 1981 when Dave Wilson was selected. That is, Tyler Shuck is the guy. And so that makes this draft class even all the more important with him being a part of it.
Okay, I was going to get to Tyler Shuck, but since you brought it up, let's stay there. What's fair expectation for him through this rookie minicamp?
Yeah, I think that the fair expectation is just that he kind of, proves the coaching staff for him being their guy. And that doesn't mean, you're not going to win a starting role in rookie minicamp, right?
Right.
But can you go out there and, look good throwing the football and take that prototypical quarterback build and utilize it in such a way that it's a standout situation for you all throughout rookie minicamps? When you're in between reps, can you be on the hip of the head coach, talking to the coach, what do I need to do better? What can I do more of? Going to the quarterback coach, what do I need to do better? What can I do more of? Going to the offensive coordinator, what can I do? What can I do better? What do I need to do more of? Can you do, is he doing all of those things that effectively confirms for the Saints that he was the right quarterback to take at such a high point in the draft relative to their usual rhythm? And so I think that that's what this mini camp session becomes all about. He's not going to have an opportunity to stand next to Spencer Rattler and throw a football. He's not going to have the opportunity to stand next to Derek Carr and throw a football. It's going to be him and probably Iowa State / Iowa Western quarterback Hunter Deckers and maybe another tryout quarterback. So he's going to have to show out on his own. It's not going to be him compared to somebody. He's going to have to go ahead and go out there and show that. So can he do that? Can he show off a little bit of that athleticism? And can he show that he's got kind of, different speeds, different types of throws, different passes, lob when it's necessary, put some touch when it's necessary, gun it in when it's necessary? Can he kind of throttle around and make the right decisions and show that he can do all of those things at the quarterback position? I think those are things you're looking to do. Not a short list, clearly, but a big starting opportunity for Tyler Shuck here over the course of this weekend.
You mentioned he won't stand next to Spencer Rattler and throw a football. And look, we know the situation with Derek Carr, or at least what we're allowed to know at this point. And okay, whatever. That'll be resolved and fine. Mm-hmm. You had a piece at LouisianaSports.net today about Spencer Rattler and if he's been ruled out of this too early. It's just, okay, if Carr doesn't play, it's going to be Shuck's job. I'll ask you, has Spencer Rattler been ruled out of this too early?
It certainly feels like it sometimes, but unfortunately, it's for understandable reasons. And when I say unfortunately, it's because you never want to see somebody's dreams not come true because of something that they have no control over, right? You never want to see that happen. But and this is a situation here to where Spencer Rattler was the last coaching staff's guy, and Tyler Shuck is this coaching staff's guy. Is certainly what this feels like, and so. I think getting a fair shake is always going to be a little bit challenging in those situations because, and this is of no fault to anybody, it's just kind of the way that it goes, Ty would go to the runner, and the runner right now is Tyler Shuck. And so I think from that aspect, it's easy to kind of look past Spencer Rattler and look at Tyler Shuck right now because you just kind of go, well, it's not that Spencer Rattler's bad. It's not that anybody doesn't like Spencer Rattler. It's just that, well, this coaching staff clearly really likes Tyler Shuck, and it becomes about that instead. And so I think that it is easy in that case to kind of look past Spencer Rattler, but Spencer Rattler has a real opportunity here. I mean, knowing that he faces that, Tyler Shuck could be the best thing that ever happened to Spencer Rattler, for all we know. And so it'll give him a real opportunity when those two do actually get to the point where they're throwing next to each other, one after the other, whatever that looks like during training camp, mandatory mini camps, maybe even OTAs, to where we get an opportunity to really see that competition between those guys get started.
Talking with Ross Jackson, Locked On Saints podcast, and also LouisianaSports.net, on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. Ross, where does Kelvin Banks line up during rookie minicamp, and what can we actually learn from it?
Yeah, I think if he lines up at tackle during minicamp and does not move, then we should openly kind of look at that as an early indication that he might be playing tackle for this team. And then, depending on if he's at left tackle, right tackle, you take that away too. If he moves around during minicamp, then maybe it gives you a little bit of a different outlook. But look, the Saints put up their rookie numbers on the roster on the team website, and while that's and along with that, they also put up position designations. And while those position designations are far from end all be all, they listed him strictly as a tackle, not as an offensive lineman, not as an interior offensive lineman. They listed him straight up as a tackle. And so it gives you an early indication, at least, that that's the position that they expect that he's going to play. We'll see if that holds true throughout minicamp. And so minicamp will either tell us that he's pretty solidly implanted somewhere or that he's moving around and they're still going to figure some stuff out. And then whatever assumption we build from that could absolutely be wrong by the time that the veterans show up, because then they could, end up sticking him in at one place and leaving him there or still moving him around. But, last year we saw Taliesin Fuanga line up at left tackle during rookie minicamps, and he never moved. And so there's a chance that where Kelvin Banks ends up during this weekend, it could be the spot from which he never moves.
Where do you think he fits best on the offensive line to give the Saints their best version of the offensive line? I know it's May, but, Yeah,
no, it's a little challenging, right? Because it all depends on how you feel about Trevor Penning. Do you feel like Trevor Penning is going to be able to repeat or continue his momentum over at right tackle, and is that enough for you, knowing that Taliesin Fuanga, who played an outstanding season at left tackle, is a natural right tackle? And so if you believe that that is a less advantageous situation to keep Trevor Penning there, knowing that you have Taliesin Fuanga that can bounce over that side, then you would say that the best place for Kelvin Banks to fit would be at left tackle. Then you move Taliesin Fuanga to right tackle, and then maybe get an opportunity to see if Trevor Penning can work moving from tackle to guard. Kellen Moore did a really good job with that with Mekhi Becton last year up in Philadelphia. But the question is, was that about Kellen Moore and his offense, or was that about the best offensive line coach in football in Jeff Stoutland? And so there's, you got to kind of figure out really where that came from. The other option is that you plug Kelvin Banks in potentially at guard and then leave your two tackle bookends, but typically you don't go at, inside the top 10 for a guard. And so that would be a little bit surprising, but then you could make that decision later. I think what would be the wisest decision for New Orleans is to put Kelvin Banks at his natural position at left tackle, move Taliesin Fuanga back to his natural position at right tackle, and then see if you can have Trevor Penning work out at guard. The reason why I say that might be the most advantageous thing is because they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. And while that's not necessarily indicative of the fact that he will or won't be on the team moving forward, it is indicative of the fact that they're not willing to pay him tackle money. And so if you're not going to pay him tackle money, then give him the opportunity, or then you give yourself the opportunity as an organization to dictate what kind of money he does get. And so either he gets guard money or he gets backup tackle money. And so if that ends up being the case, then that might be the most advantageous and cost-effective way for New Orleans to move ahead with so many of these first-round offensive linemen that are on rookie contracts right now.
Got a couple more for you, Ross, and very much appreciate your time. All right, we talked about Kelvin Banks. We talked about Tyler Shuck. What other draft pick, specifically draft pick, are you just itching to see out there at rookie minicamp?
I mean, I could make an argument for all 9 of these guys, honestly, but I'll highlight going over onto the defensive side of the football, Quincy Riley, the Louisville corner. I'm curious. Like, I don't know how much we're going to see sub packages during rookie mini camps. Will we get an opportunity to see them at nickel? Will we just mostly see them in base and stuff like that? But I'm just curious to see where he lines up and what he looks like. I mean, he's got elite ball production, 15 interceptions over the course of his career. It's the most interceptions of any of the corners in this year's draft class. Most interception return yards as well. He's also got punt and return experience. So he's kind of this electrifying athlete. He does a really good job of being able to make a play on the ball when he meets that catch point with wide receivers and things like that. And so I think that is kind of that separator for him that I think highlights a little bit of what it is that he does. And in saying on that side of the football, I'll highlight Fadil Diggs. Look, there's not a lot of 7th-round picks out there that get people really excited, everything like that. But I think Fadil Diggs could be one of those guys that does that from that draft position. Like, he can easily outperform his draft position. 6'4", 257 pounds. I'm actually writing a feature on his fit right now over at LouisianaSports.net that'll go out later on today. And he was just the quintessential Leonard Floyd, Samson Ebukam type of stand-up pass rusher off the edge that Brandon Staley had so much success with the Los Angeles Rams, and continued that relationship on with Leonard Floyd moving forward as well. And so I feel like a guy like Fadil Diggs, even though he was drafted in the 7th round, because he represents sort of the changing tide of the New Orleans Saints, there's a real opportunity for him to impress. And then I think you're excited to see Devin Neal as well, the running back out of Kansas, just because of all the different things that he can do. And seeing him up against the running backs, I think, is going to be a lot of fun.
The last one for you, Ross, and it deals with the undrafted guys. Kind of the same deal. I mean, look, we've had a handful of them on the show since the draft. I mean, they've all been really impressive just from an interview standpoint. But who are a couple of names out of the 11 undrafted guys that Saints fans really need to pay attention to because they could end up on this team?
Yeah, look, remarkably hard to root against guys like Elliot Davison, who's coming in out of UTSA and is a lifelong Saints fan, Dallas Beanham, who is just this amazing kind of aura of a guy and everything like that. But I'll highlight specifically Jasheen Davis, the edge rusher that's coming out of Wake Forest, for many of the same reasons as Fadil Diggs, is that he comes in and has sort of this experience in a system and doing things that are similar to what Brandon Staley may ask him to do at this level or at the next level. He's a little bit more of a hand-in-the-dirt guy, but just motor, like just never stops running, never stops his effort, just a really, like a guy that focuses on fundamentals. That's a coach's dream, and that's the kind of guy that ends up having a big impact for you, or that could potentially have a big impact for you as an undrafted free agent. We see the Saints oftentimes really lean into UDFAs in the trenches, either making the practice squad or making the active roster. He checks that box. He comes in as a guy that's, kind of similar to a Carl Granderson, and Carl Granderson did that coming out of Wyoming, coming in undrafted and then figuring out his role as well. I could see a guy like Jasheen Davis being able to do that. And then Tyreen Powell, this linebacker room needs, a lot more, speed, a lot more, depth, all this other stuff. There's such a gap of experience in between, the top of that position group and the bottom of that position group. And so a guy like Tyreen Powell, who also has a lot of special teams acumen, could potentially end up playing his way into a role as well.
He is Ross Jackson, of course, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Saints podcast. He'll have you covered both those places all throughout rookie minicamp, then into OTAs, training camp. It's the deal. Ross is the best. Y'all subscribe to LouisianaSports.net, subscribe to the pod. Ross, we appreciate it as always, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Thanks so much. You take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. You do the very same. We're going to grab a break here. Come back on the other side. LSU football. They hand out a pretty big offer on the recruiting trail. We'll give you a brief thumbnail on that. Of course, we'll go around the SEC. It is Thursday's AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Musso in for Moscona. Stay here.
After further review.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel. Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Jaden N to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at WilliamsonEye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right, and then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first two floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having, but they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at WilliamsonEye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. WilliamsonEye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
Rolling along here on a Thursday edition of After Further Review. Musso filling in for Moscona. Still plenty left to come. At top of the 4 o'clock hour, I do want to talk some LSU football. And, all the focus has been on Garrett Nussmeier, year number 2, and for good reason. But there's a couple of others on this team heading into their second year that we haven't talked about, and it's LSU's coordinators. And I kind of want to explore how that looks for Blake Baker and Joe Sloan in year 2 and how they might be better set up for success this go-round than they were a year ago. It's a pretty multifaceted conversation that I'm excited to have. So we'll do that straight up 4 o'clock. Speaking of LSU football, the Tigers late yesterday handed out a pretty big offer. And look, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's just an offer. But it's to one of the best players in the country in the class of 2027. That's another reason I'm not really spending a bunch of time on it. Long way away. But LSU's doing work in the 26 class, top-ranked class, if you look at On3. And then you all know the bumper crop here in Louisiana from a quarterback perspective in the 2027 class. And that's why it's interesting and caught my eye when LSU on Wednesday evening offered 4-star wide receiver Dakota Grant out of the state of Michigan. He is the number 3 wide receiver in the 2027 class overall in America. Also, big offers from, obviously, the hometown Wolverines and Oregon. So, I mean, look, he'll continue to reel in plenty, but it wouldn't be unprecedented for LSU, especially as of late, to go out and pick up one of the best, wide receivers in the country. You look at the 26 class. Tristan Keys, the number 1 wide receiver in America, is committed to LSU, Hattiesburg High School. So not really a Louisiana guy. Close proximity and all that. Obviously a lot closer than Michigan. But, I mean, again, Deion Smith a few years back was the number 1 wide receiver in the country. The number 1 player in the state of Mississippi. And you went out and got him. Now, his career is what it is, but it's not unprecedented with the success that LSU's had at the receiver position and will continue to have at the receiver position. I would say this is definitely one to watch. Very early, but just one to already kind of throw out there on your radar, because receivers position that LSU is never going to be hurting for talent at. We know that. I mean, just look at this year's team and all the ones in the past, but this year specifically. I mean, Nick Anderson, we had a mock draft, way too early mock draft a couple weeks ago, or maybe even earlier this week, where he was projected as a first-round draft pick. And you don't really know if he's going to be a starter at LSU right now. So, number 1 wide receiver in Tristan Keys committed this cycle, and they've got an offer out to the number 3 wide receiver in the country, Dakota Grant, from the state of Michigan for 2027. Just one to file away. And the offers are not done for him. He, by all accounts, is a very fast riser as he goes and gets prepared for his junior season. File that one away. All right. It is After Further Review. We are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing here on this Thursday. We do it every day about this time, so why change it up just because I'm in the chair and not Matt? Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Florida Gators.
Police have charged Florida cornerback Dijon Johnson with 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors. One of the felonies includes possession of a firearm. He was arrested over the weekend during a traffic stop in Tampa, refused to get out of the car. Cops smelled marijuana. When they searched the vehicle and placed Johnson into custody, they found marijuana, synthetic marijuana, a black Glock 19 loaded with 17 rounds. His attorney said that Johnson has issued a not guilty plea.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
This is shocking. Mississippi State, their football program has announced that they are set to build a $60 million indoor practice facility. Not shocking that Mississippi State's investing in their football program. Shocking that they don't have an indoor practice facility. Expected to be open in the summer of 2028. It'll include a 110,000 square foot indoor training facility, as well as areas dedicated to injury prevention and recovery. There will also be renovations inside the adjacent Leo Seal Jr. football complex. Architects are still in the design phase. Groundbreaking anticipated for 2027, again with the anticipated opening summer of 2028.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Sam Pittman and the Hogs doing work on the recruiting class for 2026. They just landed commitment number 15. It's offensive lineman Hugh Smith, 6'4", 300 pounds, chose Arkansas over Ole Miss, Missouri, Kansas State, and a host of others. 3-star prospect, 247, ranks him as the number 80 interior offensive lineman in the country.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss and Mississippi State, they know the date for the Egg Bowl. They will do battle for the Golden Egg once again on Friday this season, November the 28th. Kickoff set for 11 a.m. Central. Second consecutive season, the Rebs and the Dogs will square off on a Friday. Sixth total Friday contest in the history of the rivalry, which will have its 122nd meeting all time in 2025.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And Kentucky basketball, they land a commitment and transfer from Miami of Ohio. That's Reese Potter, 7'1". Mark Pope announced that on Thursday that he is signing. He has 2 years of eligibility left after spending 2 years with the Redhawks. Average 6'3", 7'1", seventh newcomer to join the Kentucky program this offseason. There you have it. That is around the SEC. Good show so far. So, told you about we want to talk some LSU football there straight up 4 o'clock, and we will. But we're not done with the baseball either. John Nabers from Inside Arkansas covers the Hogs. He'll be here at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour to give us a preview of what to expect from the very talented Razorbacks that come into the box this weekend. And, of course, we have our weekly chat with Kendall Rogers straight up 5 o'clock. So if you have to leave, come back for that. There's a lot of interesting things I want to dive in with Kendall, not just the slate this weekend in the SEC, which features, I believe, 3 ranked matchups, but also, any update on the Mississippi State coaching search here? What are you to make of the run that State's been on since Lamonis has been fired? And, of course, some postseason talk as well. So I'm really looking forward to the conversation with Kendall Rogers. You know, we've all long joked that Nick Sabin should be the commissioner of college football. And now he kind of is. We'll talk about that to close out hour number 2. I'm moving ahead in the show. We'll talk about that to close out hour number 1 of AFR next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you, but it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process, because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like when some companies say, we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, like that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes 2 to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. Takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years, because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil change, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right. Wrapping up hour number one. After further review, Musso in for Moscona. If you're just tuning in, glad to have you. You're sticking around. Thanks for doing that. Not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this because there's still a lot of unknown and it's in its infancy stages. And I also just hate when any level of government and politics intrudes on sports, because leave me alone and let me live in my blissful sports world, please. But earlier this week, I mean, we talked about President Donald Trump, a report from the Wall Street Journal that he's looking to, potentially have executive order or pass an executive order, create an executive order that would, impact NIL and the landscape of college athletics and try to kind of bring some more stability to that, maybe more enforcement. And earlier on Thursday, sources, Ross Dellinger over at Yahoo Sports, President Trump is creating a commission on college sports to address the industry and NIL and transfers and all those things. And it's going to be led by Nick Sabin. As much as we've all joked, make Nick Sabin the commissioner of college football, it looks like it's heading that way. Now, it should be noted he's co-commissioner there with who Ross has now identified and reported, Texas billionaire businessman Cody Campbell. Those two will head it up. It comes at an obviously very massive time in college sports, very influential time where you just had, the motions filed again in the House settlement with the new updates on the roster limits and things of that nature that the judge wanted in there before she rules and ultimately passes that. What the commission is expected to do, I'll read right here from Ross Dellinger's article earlier. The commission is expected to, quote, deeply examine the unwieldy landscape of college sports, including the frequency of player movement in the transfer portal, the unregulated booster compensation paid to athletes, the debate of college athlete employment, preserving the Olympic sport structure, the application of Title IX and revenue share payments, and even conference membership makeup and conference television contracts. This would also in a sense, give a little bit of enforcement power back to the NCAA, is from what I can understand in terms of athletes earning and endorsement and compensation deals and things of that nature. I don't know if that's a great idea. NCAA enforcement is a large reason we're in the situation we are right now. But, we'll see kind of potentially how that goes. It's certainly going to be interesting to follow. What I'm most interested in is not necessarily the transfer portal and NIL portion of this, even though I probably should be most interested in that. I'm interested in the end of that, the conference membership makeup and television contracts. Federal government getting involved in conference realignment. And again, it's an arm of Sabin and this businessman are going to be the ones really involved in that. But I don't think you can really put the toothpaste back in the tube when it comes to conference realignment, because it all has to do with the television contracts. That's why the Pac-12 is no more. It's why Clemson and Notre Dame are going to play each other for 12 straight years now. So that's the part of it that actually really intrigues me, is what kind of impact can this commission have on what has happened in conference realignment already and what could potentially happen in the future. And especially the part about television contracts, because those are always negotiated between the network and the conference at hand. It's going to be something to follow. Like I said, it's in the infancy. This is just the announcement that it could be coming. It'll probably be included in an executive order from President Trump. Nick Sabin, Commissioner of College Football. We all said it should happen. Well, here it is. Hour number 2 of After Further Review is next.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. One of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. After just one season in Carolina, edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney is cut today by the Panthers. He had 5.5 sacks last year after signing a 2-year, $20 million contract. Panthers running back Jonathan Brooks goes on the PUP list. He'll miss the upcoming season with a right knee injury. Steph Curry is out with a sore left hamstring, but the Warriors take a 1-0 series lead into tonight's game at Minnesota.
After a week, really reevaluating every day to kind of understand when it's safe just to even think about playing, let alone how much can you push it. Starting to feel really, really good about where we were at. And then you kind of get a gut punch like that. I'll do everything in my power to get back as soon as possible.
Steph Curry, the University of Texas Board of Regents approves a new 6-year, $32 million contract for Longhorns basketball coach Sean Miller. The LA 28 Olympic Organizing Committee announced today the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and SoFi Stadium in Inglewood will share the opening ceremony in 2028, an Olympic first.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, yes, the Nuggets have won a title recently, but I'll tell you why another early playoff exit for them would be time to panic. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Off and running, hour number 2 after further review on a Thursday, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Services. I'm Matt Musso, in for Matt Moscona. Scona's back on Monday. Jacob Beck, Paul O'Neill along for the ride. Here on your drive home, glad you are as well. However you're reaching us, thank you for being here, whether on YouTube, please smash the like button, or radio the app. We greatly appreciate it. 1 hour in the books, and looking forward to the next 2. John Nabers inside Arkansas. He'll be here to talk some Hogs baseball with us at the bottom of this hour. Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball will preview the SEC week ahead in baseball at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Do want to begin here with some LSU football to start hour number 2, but I missed this in hour number 1, so we got to make it up. Bud Light, let us begin hour 2 how we normally begin hour 1.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right. LSU football. Spring's in the rearview mirror. They're steamrolling towards summer. Look at that going, 1st of June. Coaches are out recruiting, finishing up the board so you can get those June official visits in. They're in a bit of a slow period. That doesn't mean there's not intrigue. And we've talked an awful lot about year 2 for Garrett Nussmeier, and for good reason. Year 2 has been awesome for quarterbacks here lately at LSU. Burrow and Daniels are going to be the first 2 everybody points to, but you can go back to Zach Mettenberger, right? I mean, this has been a spot where LSU's had a lot of success. But it's not Garrett Nussmeier that I want to focus in on year 2. It's LSU's coordinators, Blake Baker and Joe Sloan. Because, looking back on the 2024 season, and not even just the season, the preseason, we kind of all collectively just hand waved away that LSU is replacing both of its coordinators. And that's a big undertaking. No matter who you are, no matter what program, that's a big undertaking every year. But it was really easy to kind of hand wave it away, wasn't it? I mean, you brought in Blake Baker to replace Matt House. That was the worst defense in the history of the program, and it cost you a playoff run. And you saw Baker do more with less at Missouri for 2 years. And it's like, oh, well, he was great in his first stint at LSU. He's having great success in the SEC as a defensive coordinator. He's got this. But on offense, you were replacing Mike Denbrock, who was a very established play caller and just guided the offense to heights that rivaled 2019. Rivaled. Not equal, not surpassed. Rivaled. You had another Heisman Trophy quarterback. That guy's out the door. And you elevate Joe Sloan, who's got 1 year of play calling experience heading into last year. But again, it's like, man, look, Joe deserves it. He's ready. He deserves a lot of credit for the development of Jaden Daniels. And now Garrett Nussmeier's here. Like, it's going to be great. Both units went through their struggles for a lot of different reasons. You had some injuries on the defensive side. Harold Perkins goes down. Jacobian Guillory goes down. And you got to see some young guys really step up and play meaningful reps. They're going to be huge for you this year, and that's going to help your coordinators going into year two. Guys like Devon Keys, Dom McKinley, Ahmad Bro. On offense, you really struggled to run the football, and you really struggled in the red zone. And at one point, Brian Kelly's holding a play sheet on the sideline. So why year two better? Why should you expect improvement from your two coordinators here in year number two? Well, Brian Kelly was asked that question back in March during spring practice. I want to let you hear what he had to say and then give you some thoughts. Here's Brian Kelly on what to expect year two from his two coordinators.
I think all coaches are always looking to, better themselves relative to experience, but the roster obviously makes a difference too. I think more than anything else is that as they go into year two, they went through a year of understanding what our weaknesses were and what we need to be better at. And I think that's a great place to be going into year two, is that let's address some of the areas that we weren't as good as we needed to be. And so that's been their mindset, and I think they've addressed it quite well. We've done it with the roster. We've done it with scheme. We've done it with technique work, adding coaches to both sides of the ball. I think all of those together puts us in a better position.
Look, I mean, everything he said there is correct. They went through a year, all that. You learn, you understand what's expected of you now, and we've fixed some things, roster, scheme, all that. It's the end of that cut for me, though, that really stands out, where he talks about adding coaches to the staff, helping them out in that way. Sure, bringing in better players is huge. Like, on defense, they got better a year ago. Not, immensely better, but they were better. It was hard to be worse from what you came from the year prior. But what you also saw mixed in with those injuries is how deficient the roster really was. So, yeah, bringing in really good players like they've done in the transfer portal is huge. Like, just recently, A.J. Halsey and Bernard Gooden, but also Mansour Delane and Tamarcus Cooley. And, the list goes on and on and on. All your edges, Pyburn, Peyton, Butler, on and on. But look at what they did to help out Blake Baker coaching staff-wise. And for that, particularly the analysts. The analysts that LSU brought in defensively had ties to Louisiana and had ties to Blake Baker. He's familiar with them. They're familiar with him. They know how he wants to work. That cohesion creates more comfortability on the coaching staff and should lead to more success for Blake Baker and his unit, because he's got more guys in the building, more guys in the room that know the expectation. Brian Kelly talking about it right there in that cut. They know the expectation now after a year, what we want to accomplish. That's huge. You can throw Kyle Williams into that boat now, too. Blake Baker loves Kyle Williams. We've played the cut on this show many times of Baker talking in the spring about what Kyle Williams is going to bring, and it's the havoc from his defensive tackles. You go out and you get Bernard Gooden. All of that plays in more to what Blake Baker wants to do on the defensive side of the ball. And it should, with the cohesion and whatnot, lead to more success for him in year 2. And then you add in everything else with just improving the roster, and you can get excited there. The offense is interesting as well, because you got Garrett as weapons and whatnot, but Garrett threw for 4,000 yards a year ago. And he's got a great chance to do that again. The running game and the red zone is more intriguing. In keeping with the theme of bringing in coaches, the Alex Atkins hire, that should be huge for LSU's offense this year. That's a guy well-versed in the run game who should absolutely be able to help out Joe Sloan. And Alex Atkins called plays. That's just another great voice in the room, specifically in the running game. That should automatically help out Sloan and help LSU's offense in year 2 under Joe Sloan. Yes, Atkins is listed tight ends coach, for sure. But that's also another guy who's really experienced coaching the offensive line. He's an offensive line coach by trade. And when you're replacing 4 starters, that's pretty big and pretty helpful. The other thing that's interesting is tight end. Because you had Mason Taylor, you had Trey-Dez Green a year ago, but it was very raw, very young Trey-Dez Green. You have him another year, and look, Matt sat here for months telling you about the 2 tight end sets. That's something more they want to do, that they feel is going to fit their offense, that they're very comfortable in, and that can help you in the red zone. Plenty. But just the rhythm. Joe should be in a better rhythm this season after going through a full year calling plays, just his second. But man, you've loaded the deck for him here, roster-wise, and with guys that you brought in for the coaching staff. That's the part that I really, really like. Because that could ultimately just take it to the next level. What has Brian Kelly always said? We got a great room. You get opinions from Frank. You get opinions from Cortez, Brad, all of them. Now you could add Alex Atkins into that. It's another guy who's called plays. That's huge. And ultimately, that's what I would say helps these guys out more in year 2 than anything else that LSU did, because it should just bring more of a comfortability for those guys, as well as the comfortability they gained going through it last year and having struggles. And now, doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but now, man, you look out there, if you're Joe Sloan, you're Blake Baker, and you go, okay, well, this I can work with. So while year 2 for Garrett Nussmeier is massive, and it is, year 2 for both of your coordinators is just as big. For LSU's success and their own personal goals that they might have later in their career. This year could go a long way for all of it. Improvement should be expected. And I think improvement is on the way from both year 2. Look for marked differences on defense for LSU and on offense, because now you have fully equipped both of your coordinators with all the tools necessary to make those adjustments that lead to that improvement. All right. It's After Further Review. We're presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing here on this Thursday. Musso in for Moscona. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. Keep it football, but not as maybe fun. We got to talk about Derek Carr. We got to go on the record about Derek Carr. So we'll do that next. But then after that, baseball with John Nabers. It's Thursday's AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana, make it illegal for roofing companies to go door-to-door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association at Parrish Construction and Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storms. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers. Call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based. We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website, see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help you as well. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com.
All right. Back here after further review. It's Thursday show. Musso in for Moscona. You know, we always kind of joke, and again, it's not really a joke. It actually happens more often than not. Every time Scone's out, he misses some massive news. This isn't really massive news. This is just something that I know he would have loved to have sit here in this chair and yelled into this microphone about. So, we're going to go back a little bit. Earlier in the week, Jane Slater from NFL Network had an update on Derek Carr. Because everyone gives updates on Derek Carr except for Mickey Loomis and the Saints and Derek Carr himself to an extent, unless he's at church. Otherwise, you have to get it from reporters or Derek Carr's brother, David. There were a few new things in the report. One of them that was actually encouraging was that Derek Carr was in New Orleans twice recently, meeting with team doctors about what to do with his shoulder. Jane Slater confirmed the report earlier that we'd heard about the injury happening the same game he injured his wrist, week 14 against the Giants. Of course, that cost him the rest of the season. And then the other two things were, why are we just finding out about this now? Because that's been a question asked multiple times. And Jane Slater reports that, well, Carr didn't get back into the game. So, right, the Saints were out of contention. They were resting players. Whatever. And when he started to ramp up, he didn't really throw, for real. It was a fake football to some injured players and Alvin Kamara. And that's when he really first started feeling it. The other thing is, why is surgery being put off? And it's because Carr doesn't want to have surgery on an arm that he already has had surgery on before. Whether that's a good reason, a good excuse, whatever, I'll leave that up to you to decide. You form your own opinion there. I find it odd because there's a lot of times that players have surgery on the same arm or the same leg. And look, I'm not a doctor. I don't know the extent of his injury or any of that. But it's been done before in multiple different sports. They'd like a decision sooner rather than later. The Saints are looking for the best path forward for their team. And again, sooner rather than later. Okay. This is really cut and dry for me on Derek Carr. And then we can get into what the Saints might do at quarterback after that, honestly. You have the surgery, you don't. That's it. Have it or don't. You have it, you can play. You don't, you can't play. The New Orleans Saints are not going to win anything of significance in 2025. We all know that. But that team continues to try and win now. And while you can look and see some changes in their approach heading into this season, trying to get younger, different cap moves, they've still gone out there and signed veterans that they believe can help them come in, win now, and compete for this division, even though I don't think they can. And many of you feel that way the same. So if that's actually your approach, okay, if you think you can go out there and win the division now, you need a healthy quarterback to do that. You're not going to play and start an injured quarterback if you're trying to win now. So have the surgery or don't, Derek. It's that simple. Do you want to play or not? Because if you send a quarterback out there who's trying to let this heal on his own when surgery is a very sure way to make it heal, and you run the risk of playing an injured quarterback or preparing for the season with an injured quarterback and further delaying the development of a Tyler Shuck or a Spencer Rattler, that decision sucks. Really no way around it. Have the surgery or don't, play or don't. This whole saga is just annoying. And it reminds me a lot of the Michael Thomas deal, when he put off surgery. Now, Michael Thomas ghosted the organization. Derek Carr is at least in New Orleans twice. And you remember when Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis finally talked about it on the record, they threw shade. They didn't just throw shade. They were angry, publicly angry with Michael Thomas. And when Mickey Loomis finally gets in front of a mic and actually addresses the status of his starting quarterback, I'll be very interested to see the tone and what he has to say. Because that will answer the question of what led to this. Is it, trade me? All the rumors and reports that you've heard, that the tone and the answer that Mickey Loomis finally gives will help you read between the lines on a lot of that. So for me, have the surgery or don't. Play or don't. If you do, if you don't, the Saints aren't going to be any better this year than I think many of us are thinking they're going to be already. And it's not just me. It's not just you. It's national NFL analysts. It's Las Vegas. Look at anything. The Saints are 32nd out of 32 in a lot of different angles, in a lot of different categories heading into this season. I'd much rather that decision be made. I'd much rather him have the surgery and you go forward with Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler and cut bait with Derek Carr after the 25 season, which you're going to do anyway. This has just been messy. It has been fishy. There's no reason to continue. My opinion on that is no different than the majority of yours or anyone else that you've heard. So what would the Saints do at quarterback? We talked to Ross Jackson about this earlier in the show. Has Spencer Rattler just kind of been forgotten? Would it be a true competition, or would this be Tyler Shuck's go of it? That's hard for me to answer. That's hard for me to really take a stance on, because you know what? I can look at Spencer Rattler a year ago and go, you didn't do very well. You lost games. But I can also look at that Saints team and be like, that was not the Saints' actual team. Spencer Rattler was not dealt a fair hand in what he got to, quarterback the team with. You could say Jake Hayner wasn't either. But I think everybody can see a bigger upside with Rattler. But this coaching staff didn't draft Spencer Rattler. He's not their guy. They drafted Tyler Shuck. So much that they spent a second-round pick on a quarterback for the first time in the history of the New Orleans Saints franchise. Only the second quarterback ever drafted in the first 2 rounds. They like him. So he's going to get every avenue to be your guy. If and when this Derek Carr saga finally ends. And he'll get a fair shake with a healthy team right out the gate. And if that doesn't go well, Spencer Rattler's right there waiting. Either way, I don't know if I should call it a ceiling for the New Orleans Saints, but there is a ceiling for this team, and it's just not very high. But if you're committed to trying to go out there and make a run at it, you need a healthy quarterback. Whether that's Carr, Shuck, Rattler, Hayner, whoever, you need a healthy quarterback. Figure out who that's going to be. Rookie minicamp starts. OTAs follow soon after that. You'd like to have the decision made by then. Don't handcuff yourself more than you already have if you're the New Orleans Saints. All right. So after further review, Thursday show, we're going to grab a break, come back, switch back to baseball. LSU-Arkansas. We'll head up to Arkansas. John Nabers inside Arkansas. He joins the show to give us a preview on the Hogs. That's next. Stick around.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. You can follow him on all the social medias. I love it. Squirrel Burrell is back rocking with the G team. Elite LSU sprinter. Made the announcement. It's on social media. You can see the photos on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or all the spots. Gordon's done an awesome job with the G team, giving great NIL opportunities to athletes, not just Tigers, but so many athletes across the state of Louisiana, both the revenue sports, the Olympic sports, all of it. You can learn more about all the members of the G team by going to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, and love telling you about all the content that they do as well. Gordon sit down with members of the LSU baseball team recently. Kim Mulkey. The garage is the podcast studio there at Gordon's office. So you want to see all that, you can catch it on YouTube or any of their social medias. Whatever you do, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss.
Roll along on a Thursday edition of After Further Review. Musso in for Moscona. Tigers and Hogs at the box. 6:30 scheduled first pitch. The weather's been a menace for LSU all year when it comes to baseball. So 6:30 scheduled first pitch Friday for LSU and Arkansas. Let's head up to Arkansas, get a closer look at the foe. John Nabers, Inside Arkansas, Locked on Razorbacks. You can get him on Twitter at John Nabers Show. Great friend of the show. John, we appreciate the time. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Looking forward to some baseball. Always great when the Tigers and the Hogs link up. Man, you know, it was interesting because we knew we'd obviously be doing a segment previewing Arkansas this week. We didn't really know what the vibe around Arkansas would be. Coming off the sweep of Texas, how's everybody feeling in Razorback Nation?
Oh, you know, that's what's great about Razorback Nation. I'm sure it's the same way in LSU, is that, you know, Arkansas, they start off so strong. They won 4 straight SEC series to start the season and even got to that number 1 spot. And then they lost three straight SEC series for the first time since 2016. Everybody was upset. They're saying the team's cooked, they suck, Dave Van choke, all that other stuff that always happens. And then once you sweep the number one team in the country, just happens to be Texas, everybody's back on board. Suddenly, hey, College World Series, here we come. What a great team. We figured it out. Everything's great. So it's always up and down, but it's definitely a much higher vibe right now than it was a week ago.
Yes, the joys of SEC baseball fandom. We all know it all too well, don't we? They play 56 of them for a reason. Let's talk about those three series lost in a row. Before we go forward, let's look back. What happened? What went wrong for Arkansas that led to that skid?
Yeah, what it was, at least in my viewpoint, is that you just saw a team that, everybody hits a slump. Everybody gets to that point where you're in the middle of the season and all of that, and you just have some issues. And I'm not trying to justify anything or anything like that, but you go on the road to Georgia, for instance, and you win game one. You win it in a run rule. You beat them 13-3. But, hey, Georgia's a really good team. They come back, and then you lose that game 7-6 by one run. And then the game three, you lose in 12 innings by one run, where you were a single strike away from winning that game and winning the series. And so, I know that's baseball. They count wins and losses more than anything, but you were right there. And I think that really kind of put a little bit of a damper on the Razorbacks. And then against Texas A&M the next weekend, because of weather-related issues, you had to play a doubleheader on a Friday. So you had the entire series completed before the weekend actually started. And because of the rain and all of that, and Arkansas starting pitching just kind of got hit up a little bit, and Texas A&M was playing a lot better than what they were in the beginning of the year, so that's what happened there. And then Florida, Arkansas just hasn't won there. They haven't had much success there, and they just could not get the timely hit. So it's kind of been a culmination of a lot of stuff. But honestly, where they're at right now, they needed that type of performance against Texas. I think Dave Van Horn challenged them, and especially challenged the starting pitching. And having Gage Wood back at full health has definitely been helpful. But I just chalked it up to being a slump, and we'll see if Arkansas can continue to respond after said slump the rest of the way.
We'll get to the offense because, that's the headline with Arkansas. But you brought up the starting pitching there in the A&M series, so I kind of want to move there. Talk to me about Zach Root, the ECU transfer. When he's going good, what does it look like? Like last week against Texas, that was awesome. What led to that success for him?
Yeah, he is just he's one of those guys that Arkansas hasn't had many pitchers like him as far as the personality goes. They've had some great pitchers. That's a known fact. They had Hagen Smith, Kevin Cox. They've had some great pitchers. But they've usually been really reserved, really calm, really just, throwing guys and getting strikes and everything. And not to say that they don't get excited, but they're just, go back to the dugout, they do their thing. Root, on the other hand, he's got a lot of swagger to him. He's got that confidence to where it could really benefit you when he is up, and he is cooking. And it just, you can tell the entire environment and culture of the team goes along with it. If he comes out strong and he is throwing them and got guys out and everything, he settles in and he gets fired up, and he's just got that swagger to him that really just oozes out to everybody else. And then I don't know if there's a direct correlation, but it certainly seems like anytime he pitches really well, the rest of the team plays well. And I'm not just talking about defense. I'm talking about the hitting. The hitting's better. It just seems to be that case. And so he is so good at being aggressive. He's so good at challenging. He likes to kind of get into the head. He also has this look about him that I think some hitters, may just want to go out there and do a good job against them, but he's able to play a little bit of mind games and how he does his pitching. So he's just been really fun to watch. He's had his struggles, but really hoping that, again, he settles in and makes those Friday games, those Friday starts a lot better.
You mentioned Gage Wood looking healthy, and they've been ramping him up a little bit here the last few weeks. What do you think Dave Van Horn's expecting to get out of Gage Wood in Baton Rouge?
Well, he's been slowly and surely coming back as time has gone on. He went through an injury, and he was started so good at the beginning of the season, had that injury, and Dave has been hesitant to bring him back fully, which, I trust Dave Van Horn, but fans were kept wondering what was going on. Was it something more serious? Because it just didn't make any sense. Well, then he starts to come back for just an inning. He started in game 2 against Texas A&M for one inning, and that was the whole deal. And then they brought in Gabe Yackel. But I think Dave knows Gage Wood, knows what he needed, and knows what he needed to make sure that he was not feeling the pressure of coming back immediately and getting it going. And he handled it that way. And I think that that's why it set up Gage Wood to be as good as what he's been over the past few outings, especially against Texas. The dude has speed. He also has a huge personality and a lot of confidence. He's an experienced pitcher. This is his third year. He's been in big moments before. He's come up big. But I think in the way that they slowly brought him back, he's really gotten his confidence back and gotten his swagger back. And he's a guy that can really, again, challenge you, but makes you to where you got to think about every pitch that he's throwing. He's got different pitches. I think he's topping out at 98 this past weekend against Texas. So if he could just do that consistently and stay healthy, man, he's one of the better second-day starters in the SEC.
Yeah, I remember early in his career, I was like, got to deal with that guy for 3 years? All right, that seems not fun at all. All right, John, I'm talking with John Nabers, Inside Arkansas host there, and, of course, host Locked on Razorbacks. You can get him on Twitter at John Nabers Show. Let's talk offense. Vahiva Aloy, Kahio Aloy, go. Just go.
How much fun have they been? Probably not for anybody else, but listen, it's kind of crazy. So Vahiva Aloy was a highly regarded transfer coming in a year ago. This is his second year at Arkansas. His third year in college baseball. And he had a lot of expectations when he came in. They thought that he was going to be a guy that walks in and knew what he was capable of, and we got to see a little bit of it last year, but not consistent. I mean, Arkansas just as a team in the hitting department was not consistent. So everyone was like, okay, well, we hear about this guy, but when can we see it? Well, now we're seeing it. I mean, the guy is unstoppable. And I mean this. And Arkansas has had some great players at every position. He is the best shortstop Arkansas has ever had in the history of the program. Because his defense is incredible. He's a very gifted athlete. He's very smart. But when you're batting 376 and you have 17 home runs, and I'm not saying it has been this way, but it feels like you've hit a home run in every single game for the past 2 weeks, he's crushing it. I mean, he's absolutely crushing it. His brother, who's a transfer from BYU, this is his first year, Kahio Aloy, he happens to be batting 359, which is not too bad, also with 12 home runs. And also leading the team in RBI. So to say that these two guys have been awesome and been a huge part of the team's success this season would be an understatement. And I hate to put it because Arkansas has a lot of other great hitters too. Davalon's great. Maxwell, he's a little bit banged up. So see whenever he comes back with Kojul, Brent Iredale, they got some really good hitters. But I think the key is that if you stop those two guys from getting hot offensively, you're probably going to have success as a team and probably beat the Razorbacks.
So that's kind of going to be my next question. Like, I can look at all the numbers. I can look at the statistics and whatnot, and I can go, Arkansas's got a pretty darn good team. You watch a lot of the games. Is there a hole in that lineup anywhere 1 through 9?
Man, if there is, it's just because of a bad game. I mean, that's kind of what the whole deal is. Like Justin Thomas Jr., for instance, he's the 9-hole hitter. He's hitting 287. He's a guy that has been, I think it was last week against Texas. He ended up hitting 2 home runs, but he's been a guy that has power to him. And so many of those balls get to the warning track this season where, man, if he just had a little bit more power, he could be up there as good as anybody hitting home runs. He's got 8 on the season. So to answer your question, no. If there was going to be one, Brent Iredale went through a slump. He's at 305 now. He was close to 400 for a long time. He went through a slump. He was much better against Texas this past weekend. But besides that, yeah, they got pieces, man. And even Reese Robinette, I didn't mention him. I mean, that guy was killing it and hit 2 homers in the game 3 last week against Texas. He's found his way back onto the team and back to playing a lot more. So, yeah, this is a great hitting team. It's just a matter of getting the hits at the time of that.
I saw a little bit of him over the weekend watching the Texas games with LSU's kind of postponed. He's a giant human being, like very large young man. Couple more for you, John. Game on the line, 3 outs needed. Who's the go-to arm in the Arkansas bullpen?
Yeah, it's a great question because it's been back and forth. There have been some guys that have looked really good but struggled, and there's other guys that, you felt really good in their situation, but something happened. Anyway, the point is right now where it stands, because who knows, it could change next week. But right now, I think Aiden Jimenez is the dude. He's a kid that also was highly regarded coming into Arkansas. And we hadn't really got to see much of him, but we kept hearing his name. Dave kept mentioning his name earlier in the season. It's like, okay, yeah, we know this. We hear this guy, but who is he? Like, what is he going to do? Is he going to play? And he's been kind of the go-to dude whenever the game is, you said, on the line. They need to go to the bullpen. They need to get it done. He's been phenomenal, and he's their best arm right now. I think he's been great. Dylan Carter's also been really good. I feel like he's been here for 8 years, but same with Will McIntyre. He's still there too. But yeah, these are guys that at least are experienced veterans, depending on the situation. I think it'd be comfortable with him. And Parker Coyle is also the one that I believe he's going to play this weekend a little bit. He's been really great coming out of it. But if it's one guy, though, I'm going with Aiden Minette.
Last one for you. Arkansas has won 4 out of the last 5 series here between the two. If they're to make it 5 of the last 6, what's the blueprint for them in Baton Rouge this weekend?
To me, it's simply about being able to continue on and build what you had against Texas, because that's what I'm going to be fascinated about. Listen, Texas #1. Arkansas hates Texas. There was energy. There was animosity. You swept them. It was great. You beat the brakes off of them. Okay. But how are you going to respond to that now? Like, how are you going to come off of that? Is it going to be an emotional letdown? Is it going to be something that you went all in last weekend and now you kind of just let it get to you and you end up causing some problems for yourself? I'm going to be fascinated by that as far as the mentality of the team. But when it comes to actually on the field, if Arkansas is going to do it, it's just about when you got guys at scoring position, get them home. This has been a problem that Arkansas had last year. It's been better this year, but they could still be a little bit problematic, where they got runners at second and third with 1 out and they get nothing. Those are the things where if you get those opportunities, take advantage of them. Because I think LSU is a really good team, obviously. I think Arkansas is a really good team. To me personally, I think if Arkansas is playing their best and LSU is playing their best, I still would probably go a little bit with Arkansas on that end. But it's going to be a battle, and that's why it's so important for Arkansas to take advantage of those opportunities, whether it's errors, whether it's just one of those plays that goes in your favor a little bit. Take advantage and get those timely hits, because I think the pitching is going to be really good. It's just a matter if the offense can complement it as well.
He is John Nabers. You can get him on Twitter at John Nabers Show. Watch him and listen to him over there on Inside Arkansas and, of course, on Locked on Razorbacks as well. John, we appreciate the time as always, my man. Thank you. Enjoy the baseball and have a great weekend.
You as well. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great one.
For sure. That is John Nabers. It's going to be fascinating, man, LSU and Arkansas, because, that offense that the Hogs are bringing down here is real. It is absolutely real. The one thing I look at is, given the weather that has blown through earlier this week and will continue to blow through parts of this weekend, you're looking at scattered thunderstorms on Friday, maybe potentially early into the evening on Friday as well, and then again Saturday during the day before first pitch. That's going to cause a north wind to blow from, into the box, which would make it play bigger, which could neutralize a little bit of Arkansas's power. That's 102 home runs the DVH's club's bringing down here. So that could be big for LSU. It's also going to be unseasonably cool. You're looking Friday night, Saturday night lows in the 60s, which for the first week of May is absurd. But all of that is conducive to the ball staying in the park, and that could be, given some of LSU's struggles right now at the plate, that could be a great equalizer for them having to try and neutralize this dynamic Arkansas offense, of course, led by the Eloy brothers, who are they're fantastic. They really are very fun to watch, as long as they're not playing against your team. This weekend, they're playing against your team, so it won't be too fun to watch them. But those are 2 great baseball players coming down here, and they pace an awesome Arkansas offense. We got a lot of time to continue to preview that series again. Kendall Rogers will be here to start next hour. We'll get his thoughts on LSU Arkansas, but of course the SEC slate as a whole. Really looking forward to that conversation. As for now, we'll grab a break, come back, wrap up hour number 2 of AFR with Tigers in the Pros. Stay here.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Remember, you can always download the Rouse's app. I encourage you to do that. If you're shopping, download the Rouse's app. Select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick them out for you. You pull up in one of the designated spaces, and they'll bring it out to your vehicle. It's at Rouse's. Go to Rouse's.com. You can find the location nearest you at Rouse's.com or in the Rouse's app. And as always, boy, no matter what you're looking for, they got you covered. May is Pet Month. You may not know that. So they've got tons of great items on sale all month long for your pet. from treats and dog and cat food and all different types of things, supplements. You can check it all out at Rouse's all this month at May, with it being Pet Month. So treat your best friend, courtesy of our friends over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Find the location nearest you with 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Back here, hour number 2 of After Further Review. We are putting a button on it. We do so with Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
We're going to start in minor league baseball. We're going to start a couple days ago with Jaden Coleman. You see this? Jaden Coleman currently in a single-A ball with the Dunedin Blue Jays. Coleman, they played a marathon extra inning game on Tuesday night. Coleman was tasked with the 8th and 9th. Two innings, just an unearned run. Didn't walk anybody, punched out 6. But in the 9th, immaculate inning from Jaden Coleman. 3 up, 3 down, 9 pitches, 9 strikes, inning over. Awesome to see. Coleman having a pretty good year. 3.07 ERA so far for him in single A ball. But that wasn't it. The Lansing Lugnuts, a night ago in high A ball, who have two former LSU Tigers, Tommy White, who did not appear in the game a night ago, and Gage Jump, who got the start. Gage Jump, 8 innings, 1 run, no walks, 8 punch-outs, 4th win of the year, and oh yeah, an immaculate inning in the 4th. 3 up, 3 down, 9 pitches, 9 strikes. Awesome. 2 in 2 days for former LSU Tigers. Gage Jump, by the way, 4-1 with a 2.32 and going 8. Might be time for the A's to consider moving him up a little bit of a level. Not surprised in the least. He was awesome at LSU, and that's carrying over, and I'm extremely happy to see it. The other thing I am extremely happy to see is any day that Alex Bregman takes the baseball field, because he is absolutely raking with the Boston Red Sox. A night ago, 3 for 4, 3 RBI. He scored twice, double, and his 9th home run of the season. Exited that game hitting .327. Earlier today on getaway day, Bregman did wear the collar, 0 for 4, but still .318, 9 homers. That ties him for the lead with Boston. He is off to a raucous start. And lastly, disappointing news. The Miami Dolphins have released long snapper Blake Ferguson on Thursday. That stinks. Man, Blake got a really nice career. Stupid pop-up. Blake had a really nice career. 72 regular season games for the Dolphins, including 2 playoff appearances. And just, it's awesome. Of course, his brother Reed is still with the Bills. Blake will land on his feet for sure. That type of resume, doing it that long, somebody else will give him a shot. That's Tigers in the Pros. This is After Further Review here on a Thursday, represented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Musso in for Moscona. Hour number 3, staring you straight in the face. We'll kick it off with Kendall Rogers. Preview the week in SEC baseball next.
After Further Review.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana, because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there. You can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, Our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
I'm Doug Brown. The Carolina Panthers cut edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney today after only one season with the team. And Panthers running back Jonathan Brooks will miss the 2025 season after tearing his right ACL 5 months ago. Warriors and Timberwolves Game 2 tonight in Minneapolis. Golden State took Game 1 even after losing Steph Curry with a hamstring strain. He's out tonight, but Anthony Edwards will play for the Wolves, hoping to have a better first half than in Game 1 when he had 1 point. What were the Warriors doing to cause that? Edwards says nothing. On ESPN tonight at 7 Eastern, an NHL playoff doubleheader. Hurricanes at Capitals, followed by Oilers at Golden Knights. Carolina and Edmonton both took Game 1 on the road. Baseball finals today. The Tigers beat the Rockies 10-2 in Denver. First of a doubleheader. Spencer Torkelson drives in 3. The Royals sweep a 4-game series against the White Sox, winning their 6th in a row. Winning today 10-0. Salvador Perez drives in 3.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 3 after further review here on a Thursday, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Musso in for Moscona. Jacob Beck, Paul O'Neill, they're along for the ride. And glad you are as well, just knocking off work. Thank you for making us part of your drive home. If you're watching on YouTube, please smash the like button. 2 hours in the books, one more here to go. We'll continue talking some baseball. Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com, on Twitter at Kendall Rogers, joins us in his weekly spot. Preview the week ahead in the SEC, and it's a big one. Kendall, how are you?
I'm doing well, Musso. I have a question. If you're doing the actual show, who does the Todd Peterson button?
That would be Jacob Beck, has the Todd Peterson button. Oh,
there we go. See, Jacob has a quick trigger. I like it.
Hey, man, I think the last time I was quicker than normal. I think we got away with it.
You guys are such professionals. I'll have to let Matt know that you are very professional.
He's letting the inmates run the asylum today. So,
yeah, exactly.
All right, Kendall, let's dive in because, man, this week in the SEC, 3 ranked unranked matchups. Postseason implications abound. To get started with Auburn and South Carolina, less about that series, more of a question about Auburn. What do the Tigers need to do to really lock up the top 8 seed for them and Butch Thompson down the stretch here?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the contenders, I think Auburn's one of those teams that is in a favorable situation. You look at the RPI, you look at the head-to-head series ones they have. Their record's a little weird in conference just because they were swept in a couple of those weekends by Texas and by Georgia. But otherwise, they've been pretty good in conference. So I think if Auburn just takes care of business in that series this weekend, I think they're in a pretty good position going to the final weekend of the regular season. Butch Thompson's done a really nice job. I think Ike Irish, for my money, might be kind of the most feared hitter in the SEC right now. He's just on an unreal tear offensively, and so that's a really good team. And Sam Dutton on the front of that rotation has done a really nice job. Obviously, the LSU kickback. That is a really good offense. I do still wonder a little bit with AU if they have enough pitching to go the distance and get to Omaha. But they can certainly really hit, and they're certainly in a really good spot, top 8-wise right now.
Playing at home would certainly help them there. They've done great renovations over there, and it's an underrated atmosphere, Plainsman Park. Let's move to the top 10 series in the league this week, and that's LSU-Arkansas, obviously, here in Baton Rouge. Before we get into that, thoughts on LSU after the weekend in College Station? I know you were there to take in the series.
Yeah, you know what? I think I predicted that A&M might win that series last week, and I just thought when you look at the urgency that A&M had going into that weekend, I think A&M from a postseason standpoint, if you lose the LSU series, you're in a really tough spot going into the final couple of weekends. So, I wouldn't say LSU doesn't have the urgency, but, LSU with Arkansas go into the box this weekend, you have a little bit of flexibility. And so I think my biggest takeaway if I'm LSU is, you kind of want to get the offense going. Yeah. The offense, I thought against A&M. It gave A&M pitching some credit, I guess. But, I mean, offensively, Milan did not have some, good at-bats. Curiel really didn't get going to the final game of the series. Just a lot of things didn't go their way offensively. I did think, Ethan Fry had some really good at-bats for LSU. But ultimately, I'd really like to see Milan get going. He's just one of those guys that's so good defensively. And he was so good offensively at times earlier in the year. It just hasn't been great. And so the other takeaway for me, Chase Shores in a positive way. I thought Chase, that was the best stuff I've seen from him this year. I thought he looked comfortable in that bullpen role, which is interesting considering he was on the road in front of a hostile atmosphere. The fastball was commanded. The slider was commanded. And I think as you're LSU and you look ahead, at the next couple of weekends, and certainly the postseason, if you're going to put Casey Evans in the number 3 spot, which, by the way, he was awesome again after the first inning this past weekend. But if you're going to keep him in the rotation, you really have to have a guy like Chase Shores pitch well at the back end. And I thought he did over the weekend against A&M.
The bullpen and the pitching staff definitely got all the bouquets around here after that weekend in College Station. Okay, with this weekend series, look, you mentioned the offense for LSU. That is not a problem for Arkansas. The Aloy brothers are both menaces to society that is SEC baseball. How do you see this one matching up between the Tigers and the Hogs? The Hogs, Kendall, I mean, they've won 4 of the last 5 series between the two.
Yeah, Arkansas is scary. And, I think if you look at the top of the lineup for the Hogs, Wahiva Aloy and Kuhio Aloy, the two brothers, they're just electric. I mean, Wahiva, in addition to being a powerful hitter at the plate, just a premier defender up the middle at short. Charles Avalon, the FTC transfer, has done a really nice job. He's kind of a spark plug for them. And then the other interesting guy is, Reese Robinette against Texas went crazy offensively. Can he do that 2 straight weekends down at the box? So I do think LSU, at least on paper, has a little bit of an edge from an offensive standpoint. I do feel like the two pitching staffs are kind of similar in the sense that, I feel pretty good about the number 1 and number 2 spots in Arkansas' rotation. But I do think Landon Bottle-Cheese, I think he's good. I don't think he's great. And so I actually feel like LSU matches it pretty well there, considering how Ianson pitched and Cade pitched last weekend against A&M. I think the big key will, for LSU will be, Gage Wood, their Arkansas Saturday guy, against Texas was outstanding. 9 strikeouts, no walks. Again, can he do that at the box after looking that good against Texas at Baum? That's a question. And then the last guy for me to keep an eye on for Arkansas will be Gabe Gackle. They kind of use him as a bridge/long relief guy, and it's elite stuff. I mean, it's going to be 93, 96. It's going to be a plus breaking ball. LSU needs to make sure they either have a lead or they're not playing from well behind or, even 2 or 3 runs behind when he enters the game, likely in the middle game of that series. He's really good.
Let's head to Knoxville, Kendall, where Tennessee welcomes in Vanderbilt, who's hot. Tennessee not. What's up with the Vols?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed it too when they were in Baton Rouge. I didn't get the same feeling from those guys. It kind of felt like the chippiness, the hard-nosed attitude from those guys was a little forced. I didn't think it was like authentic. And whereas I feel like some of those past teams, like last year's club with Christian Moore, that was authentic. That was not fake. Like they were ready to roll, ready to rumble. And I just think Tennessee's just a little off right now. They've lost 4 of the last 5 series. If they lose the Vandy series, they've lost 5 of the last 6. I do think if Tennessee loses its final 2 series, I don't think they'll even be a top 16. No matter if you look at the RPI or not, I don't care who you are. If you lose 6 out of 7 series to finish the regular season, you really should have zero reason to be hosting. And so I think this weekend is big for them. I actually think Tennessee will play well against Vanderbilt. I think they match up favorably against Vandy. Vandy, not an ultra-offensive team, but Vandy can really pitch. And so I think Tennessee matches up pretty well with them. I think they get a big series win in Knoxville.
Odd weekend for them, too, with the weather against Auburn. Just that was a crazy schedule that they ended up playing there against the Tigers.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to ask you about Mississippi State as well, Kendall, because, obviously, look, Chris Lemonis is out, and they've won every game since then. Are we reading too much into that, or what has maybe changed with this team since that move has been made?
I think the biggest thing is I think anybody with a pulse, looked at that situation with Chris Lemonis late in the year and said, you know what, this team's under a lot of pressure. They feel like if they don't start winning games, their coach is going to get fired. Well, now, you're leaving nothing to the imagination. Chris Lemonis is out. You're going to get a new coach. And so, therefore, you don't have that pent-up anxiety and that pent-up frustration that you had before. So they're playing with house money. And when you're a team like Mississippi State, who I still believe is pretty talented. You look at Ace Reese in their lineup, offensively when they were at the box, they look pretty good offensively against LSU. So this is a team with talent. And right now, they're just playing loose. They've got nice pieces at the back of the bullpen. They got one of the better starting pitchers in the SEC, in Pico Khan. And, as long as they continue down this pathway, I think they can be dangerous. I don't know if they can get to Omaha, but they could absolutely get to Super with the talent that they have there and start Vegas.
Talking with Kendall Rogers, of course, D1Baseball.com, on Twitter at Kendall Rogers. Couple more for you, Kendall. Appreciate your time. Texas,
absolutely.
They host Florida, who, Sully's group, here they come. Seems like every year at least they're going to make their run. Texas licking their wounds after Arkansas. Horns bounce back at home.
I think they do. Florida's dangerous. Luke Hyman's been really good the last couple weeks offensively. Liam Peterson's been good. But, Texas has just been so good in Austin. And I think after last weekend, that was kind of a wake-up call for them, just the way they got dominated by Arkansas. I do like them at home, but Florida's a different team than they were, 4 or 5 weeks ago. They've got a series win at home against Arkansas over the last few weeks. And, they've been very offensive.
Series to watch around the country? Maybe we're not. Last week you gave us Florida State and Clemson. That was a dandy between those two teams. What are we keeping an eye on maybe outside of the SEC bubble?
Yeah, I'll give you 2 really intriguing ones. NC State against North Carolina. NC State was a club that we thought was trending towards a host. Their RPI dropped 7 or 8 spots last week. They're down around 32 again, so they need to win this series against the Tar Heels, their rivals, to have a chance to host, I believe. The other one that's really interesting, this is going to be way off the board here,
okay,
but I'm going to go Iowa at Oregon State. Iowa might be one of the more interesting teams in college baseball, where I think they're a really good club, but the RPI is sitting at 68, but they're leading the Big Ten. So it's one of those weird things where if you're Iowa with a 278 non-conference youth schedule, you'd really like to go to Corvallis this weekend and get a series win to kind of get that pressure off, because if they don't win that series this weekend against Corvallis, they go into that final Big Ten series against Oregon where they pretty much have to win it, or I think they're going to get left out just because of the non-conference schedule.
That's why we call you, Kendall, because you bring in Iowa versus Oregon State. and Iowa potentially missing the tournament while winning the Big Ten. It's college baseball, man. It's just the best.
You gotta love it.
It's the best. Kendall, we appreciate the time as always, man. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
You got to. Thanks, fellas. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. On Twitter at Kendall Rogers. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. LSU basketball portal. Are they done? Matt McMahon answered that question. We'll let you hear what he had to say next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. ActionIndinc.com. That's where you find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn as well. And one of the things that I tell you often about Action Industries that I really respect the most is Action Industries, they know who they are as a business. They've been around since 1982. So in 42 years, they've really developed a reputation among the petrochemical and refinery markets. And so when it comes to those contractors, these industrial and commercial contractors, like their safety record is exemplary. The work that they do is exceptional, which is why they thrive on repeat business. Well, you don't keep getting hired for 42 years if you're not doing great work. That's Action Industries. But also they know who they are. There's some giant companies that do these mega projects, and they're not going to bid on a $200 million project. But if you have a 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. They're perfect for that. You need to get to know Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Good Wood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Brought to you by Evermore, all natural, great tasting water. When you uncap a bottle of Evermore, that's the first time the product touches air. It's incredible. It's a natural well, natural artesian water. It's a well. It's on the North Shore. I went to their bottling facility. When you pull up on the left, you'll see the well is right there. They've drilled deep into the earth. They pipe it out right into their filters and their filtration system. Nothing is added. Nothing is extracted. It is completely pure from the earth water. So if you want a healthier option, if you want a healthier lifestyle, something healthier for your children, maybe you're an athlete that wants a superior form of hydration, Evamore, EVAMOR. If you notice, go to their website, you'll see Dak Prescott is one of their chief spokespeople. I mean, starting NFL quarterback is vouching for it. Check it out at great local retailers or order on their website at EVAMOR.com, Evamore.com, Evamore.com.
So Matt McMahon and the LSU basketball team, they've been doing work in the transfer portal. They've reeled in the number 12 ranked transfer portal class. They've addressed starters. They've addressed depth. They've really kind of addressed it all. And this week, you saw the last edition, the most recent edition, I should say, in Ron Zipper. Before that, it was Pablo Tamba. Matt McMahon was on Tiger Rag Radio Tuesday night. You can hear that on our sister station, Talk 107.3, here in Baton Rouge. Want to take them in order, so we'll start with Tamba. Here was Matt McMahon Tuesday night, his thoughts on Pablo Tamba and what he brings to LSU.
A hybrid-type player who could guard the 4 and the 3 position. And Pablo's 6'7", really athletic. Played in the same under-20 European championships that Ron Zipper did. They actually played against each other, which was pretty neat going back and looking at that film. But averaged 11 points, 6 rebounds a game this year at UC Davis. He comes in as an older, experienced player. Really an efficient finisher around the rim, which I think is going to be important for us with De'Don Thomas's ability to drive and create.
Finishing around the rim, athletic wing, you love that. And LSU, good rebound. LSU brought in plenty of those guys this cycle, which they needed because they weren't good rebounding the basketball a year ago. Really at all. Turnovers, rebounds, three-point percentage. Those were the things that really, really cost LSU. Not just in big, meaningful games, in games, just in all the games. Pablo Tamba helps that. And he's not the only one, right? I mean, you bring in Nwoku as well. More presence down low. Robert Miller coming back. Jalen Reed, who can really go out there kind of play the 5 for you, but wing as well. Then there's Ron Zipper, who we talked about earlier this week on the show. Matt McMahon talked about what role he can bring to LSU in 2025.
He's a 2-guard, 38% from behind the 3-point line this season over in the Israeli Winter League. Double-figure scorer there. I do think he's more than just a shooter. I think he's a very skilled passer, has great size at 6'5". But for us, the 2 and 3, fairly similar. But he'll definitely be one of those guards for us on the perimeter.
The 3-point shooting just stands out so much with Ron Zipper, aside from him having an awesome name. The 3-point shooting is electric. And again, you throw him in there with DJ Thomas, with McKinnon. PJ Carter is going to shoot a lot of threes. And what I like is, Ron Zipper might not be a starter for this LSU team. We'll let that play out. PJ Carter, probably not a starter for this team. He came off the bench at Memphis a year ago and gave them sparks with 3-point. It's one thing LSU needs. You're going to compete in the SEC, you got to shoot threes. Look at the teams at the top of the league. Auburn shoots and makes a bunch of threes. Alabama shoots and makes a bunch of threes. Tennessee shoots and makes a bunch of threes. Florida shoots and makes a bunch of threes. It's something that Matt McMahon wants to be a part of this offense and has tried for the last 2 years to get there. Now with the investment behind him, they've gone out there and gotten a lot of 3-point shooters. Ron Zipper's next in line, and it's a beautiful left-handed stroke. Big arc on it. Check mark in the box there for 3. Like, if LSU doesn't show marked improvement shooting threes this season, that's a problem. Because you went and brought in guys that's what they do. The other into this conversation is where they stand. Are they done? LSU's at 13. Long thought that's where they want to be. They're not going to go to 15, but Matt McMahon was asked, is the roster complete?
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We will probably we have a couple walk-on spots we'll fill, and then we'll see how that house settlement goes through. But it sounds like men's college basketball will be capped at 15 players on a roster. I mean, you've seen some in recent years with 17, 18, 19 guys. Those days are over. So as far as our signings, we are complete at this time.
So there you go. From the man himself, they're done. Portal wrapped up. And it's a really, really good class that they brought in. Now you have to go win with it. But 13 scholarship players, you heard him add a couple walk-ons. With your 13 scholarship players, you can divvy up that money from the house settlement once you see how it goes. Again, should have a ruling on that here soon, probably within the next week or so. Probably at some point next week. And then you go forth and you go out there and try to win basketball games. This is kind of the same conversation we had with LSU football, right? You've got it where you want now. How many times we say that with Brian Kelly? All right, you got the investment. You went out and got the number one portal class in the country. You've got the staff where you want it. Now you have to go win. Same for Matt McMahon. They've revamped his staff. They haven't just invested in the roster. They revamped his staff. You bring in Ronald Dupree as general manager. You go out and you get all this talent. You've got it where you want it now. It's time for the results to follow. And Matt McMahon, before he got out of there with that interview over there on Tiger Rag, he did talk about his vision for the roster in 2025.
Size, a lot of 6'5", 6'6" guards, and three-point shooting. And so what we hope, we've created a dynamic roster with great size, great playmaking at the point guard, and then three-point shooting on the wing.
There you go. Size. Help you rebound. Not just size down low, size at the guard position, where they can be factors in rebounding the basketball as well. And how many times did he mention three-point shooting in that cut? Beck, did you notice? Was it 3, 4? How many was it?
I think it was 3 or 4 in like a 15-second cut.
Yeah.
So.
3-point shooting. They want to shoot threes. They've got the guys to do it. If you are not markedly improved at shooting the three-pointer this season, it's going to be very, very disappointing, because that is really, really, really where you put your emphasis here in the portal to go along with all of that size. There wasn't much to be excited about this year. Once the calendar flipped to the SEC schedule, there wasn't really anything to be excited about. Right now, you still got a long way to go to November in the season, but there is a little bit of excitement. And man, you know what? I hope Matt McMahon turns it around. I really do. I think he's a great coach. And when LSU basketball's good, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of... March and April are great around here because you've got baseball in full swing and then the men's team potentially making a run in the tournament. That's fun. Hopefully he's on his way there. And one more, Beck, if we could, number 9. He did talk about Ronald Dupree and the role he played in building this class and just bringing him on as GM and what that means to LSU.
And I think, where Ron is really providing a lot of value here early in his time at LSU is just the overall roster construction. You're dealing with salary cap now, as you would in the NBA. Trying to slot guys into certain spaces and so forth. So he's doing a terrific job here early in his time back at LSU.
Yeah, I'd say so. Big part, especially of these last few guys they've added into the portal class. And, Ronald Dupree, when he was on this show, we played the cut the other day, talked about college moving to more of a pro game, and that including international scouting. And, as Matt McMahon said, salary cap, managing all of that. You went out and got a great one, and he happens to have a deep love and deep ties to LSU, having played in the program and knowing, what it's about and wanting to get it back to a level where it's respectable. Because y'all, last year, The year before that, LSU basketball wasn't respectable. That's what you're striving to get back toward. First step, what you did in the portal. Next step, coach them up, win games, make the NCAA tournament. You do that, further investment follows. But it's up to this staff to make sure the investment doesn't go by the wayside. They have a great opportunity in what's going to be, I can only assume, a loaded Southeastern Conference once again. We'll see. I'm excited to follow it. I really am. I think they've done a great job so far here in this offseason. Now it's time to see the fruits of your labor. All right. Couple segments remaining here after further review. Thursday show presented by Decision Critical. Musso in for Scone. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, continue our conversation. We still have Otterlocks. Oof. Beck was going through it in the break. It was a rough night for our guy. He had the Celtics again. Now, granted, I could see the logic. Bounce back. You're not expecting Boston to blow a second 20-point lead, but I'll be darned. That's what they did over there at TD Garden. So we'll see what the Otters got for us tonight. Baseball, a lot of getaway day, but baseball as well as some NBA playoffs, maybe some NHL as well. It's Thursday. You know they had Colucci on. So we'll talk all that with Otter. But for now, that's a couple segments away. Take a break. Stick around. AFR continues here on a Thursday.
AFR.
Love telling you about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, but something that I really want to stress, especially with Mother's Day coming up this weekend. So Goodwood is also partnered and owned by Unique Physique, and coming soon, Unique Aesthetics. So the 3-in-1 will have a full service and complimentary health services plan there with aesthetics and, of course, hormone therapy and all the likes. Well, if you go to shopwithmatt.com, my name, shopwithmatt.com, they are pre-selling at incredible discounts products and services for Unique Aesthetics. Botox, skin tightening and lifting, of course, gift cards, laser, hair removal, other things like body contouring, sculpting, filler, all the micro needling. And right now, the lowest prices you will see. Shopwithmatt.com. Use the code UPLoyal10.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Sabin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Sabin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, so you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
All right, hour number 3 after further review. We're rolling along here. Musso in for Scone. I came across this. Mark Schlabach, way too early, top 25. I mean, what does it really mean? I don't know. It's post-spring. It's May. We got a long way to go. But look, it is a nice idea to get a national guy's perspective on what he thinks of the landscape of college football heading into the season. So, I mean, right off the top, we got Penn State at number 1, which... Huh? Like, all right, you return Allen and Singleton at running back. That's a two-headed monster that you love. You return your center in the middle of the offensive line. That's great too. You go get Jim Knowles from Ohio State to be your defensive coordinator. But obviously, look, you lose Abdul Carter. You lose a little bit more on the defensive side. And I'm just not sold on Drew Allar at all. We got 3-year sample size that guy is just run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-pack quarterback in college football. And the more you see is him highly ranked in draft boards and things like that. And I get it. He's got a big arm. And you know what's probably going to happen is Drew Allar, he's going to go out there in the fall. He's going to have the same type of season he's had for the previous 3. Then they're going to stop playing games. He's going to go to the combine and pro day, test really well, and people are going to fall in love with him. He's going to be a top 10 pick, and we'll see how it works in the NFL. But, man, when I just look at winning college football games, that's a guy who it's never really felt like he's been the reason that Penn State wins. So that's a head scratcher. Clemson at 2. I could see that. They return a bunch, specifically on defense. You get Cade Klubnik back, who's been projected to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft at points like that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I think Clemson's a really good team, and that is going to be one hell of an uphill climb for LSU week 1 up there at Clemson to start the season. I mean, that looked a lot better a couple years ago when Clemson was like winning 8 games. But after a 10-win season, a playoff trip, and all that returning, Clemson does look formidable. I understand that. Next, you get into an interesting crop where he has Texas at 3, Georgia at 4, Ohio State at 5, and LSU at 6. And I will say this, LSU at 6 surprises me for one reason and one reason only. When you look at the top 2 teams that he ranked, and my thoughts on Drew Allar aside, when you look at the top 2, what do they have in common? They have an established, proven quarterback. It's okay to be high on Arch Manning. But you really don't know what you have in Arch Manning. Guys, it's okay to be high on Gunnar Stockton. But you really don't know what you have in Gunnar Stockton at Georgia. It's okay to be high on Julian Sayin at Ohio State, but you really don't know what you have. You know what you have in Garrett Nussmeier. It's a 4,000-yard passer, veteran who's been in the system for 5 years now. So just looking at it from that perspective, that would be my argument to moving LSU potentially up, in those rankings. He has Alabama at 9, which is interesting to see there. Obviously, a lot of people have him in the top 10, but maybe a little higher. I think that's kind of the right place for him. South Carolina down there at 13. A lot of people are high on Lenore Sellers. How about Texas Tech at 16? Tell you what they did in the portal, man, and they went hard. And they're up there, top 5 portal class, so much so that they were not ranked and went 8-5 a year ago. And now Schleybaugh thinks 16 best. Indiana, a little bit of a step back for them, 17th in the poll, obviously playoff. Florida, again, you could be high on DJ Lagway. You don't really know quite yet what you have in him. It's been 1 year. And he didn't even play the full season because of injury. So that's an interesting one, but I do think you'll see more from Florida as you go along. Michigan at 20. Interesting. Just interesting there. Obviously, all eyes are going to be on Bryce Underwood there. Ole Miss at 24. And how about the Oklahoma Sooners rounding it out at 25? I found that very, very interesting. Not ranked a 6-win season a year ago, but they did some nice work in the transfer portal. Jaden N, the running back, obviously John Mateer, and bringing in his offensive coordinator, so you just get that tandem there. But, man, they lost an awful, awful lot. But what they return is on the defensive side of the ball. You lose Stutzman, that's a big loss. 100-tackle guy 3 years in a row. But, I mean, just about every other key returner they have is on the defensive side of the ball, and they've rebuilt their offense. So, interesting to say the least, kind of where he went. Beck, anything jump out at you in this top 25 this way too early from Schleybaugh?
Yeah, it still is surprising to see. I'm with you on the Penn State thing. I know that they made it. I know they made it run the playoff, but they played Boise State. They played SMU game. I mean, that was just unbelievable. Like SMU just kept every time SMU had an opportunity to shoot themselves in the foot, they did it. And that was another game, too. Yeah, Drew Allard didn't really do much for them in that game either. And then the Boise State game, Boise just really had no chance of competing with the talent Penn State had. So, and they lose a close one against Notre Dame, which was a great game. But at the same time, again, Drew Allard, not really impressive in that one.
He didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver in that game.
Yeah, that was not good. So it is a bit shocking to see them number one. However, I can see with the Big Ten, he's got Ohio State at 5, and again, they're losing their quarterback too. So where are they going to be at? So the Big Ten seems like it's going to be kind of up for grabs, which is going to be interesting. But 9 teams in the SEC in the top 25, which shouldn't really surprise too many people. I will say the Oklahoma addition there is very surprising. Even though they did add a lot in the portal, it's still another one of those things where it's like, these guys that they got in the portal were rated highly and they got a good class, but you still don't know what you're going to get from them. I mean, it's just like bringing in freshmen. Even though they had some production, you just never know how these portal guys are going to work out. But LSU at 6 seems right to me. I could see the argument for putting them above a team like Ohio State because they're bringing back a quarterback. They're bringing back some weapons on the offense and defensively. Defensively, they're bringing back some good names as well, of course, as everyone knows. But I don't have a lot of problems outside of, the Penn State is crazy. And then, of course, Texas. Everybody just assumes that Arch Manning is going to be a really good quarterback. But he has to prove it. And everybody's just seemingly thinking otherwise in terms of whether or not he's going to take Texas again. To the playoffs. So
yeah, I mean, and he very well may be awesome. Like he may be. We don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, the starts he got. I mean, one of them was against ULM. So I mean, it's like, okay, what do you really have there? The Penn State thing. I'm sorry, I can't get behind that at all. Like I don't believe in Drew Allard at all. Like I don't. He's giving me no reason in 3 years to believe in him. It's been he was highly touted as a freshman coming in. It's like, oh, wait till you see this guy Penn State's got. And it's like, That's him? Okay, what's hard to play quarterbacks freshman in the Big Ten? Pass. Software. This is the year, man. He's taking a great job. It's like, oh, wait, has he? Same thing going into last year. I mean, to not complete a pass to a wide receiver in the biggest game of your team's season, and then the interception he threw at the end of that game as well was horrendous. I can't see it. I can't get behind that at all. That is, I mean, you could have ranked any other team in the top 10, number one. Okay, maybe not BYU, but any other team in the top 10, number one, and I could have been like, okay. I just cannot see it with Penn State. But man, look, we'll see.
And of course, Clemson number 2, man. That's the first LSU with that first game just is going to continue to loom large, especially probably none more than this year with the streak. Hopefully coming to an end, but not going to be easy.
It should be an awesome game, and I'm excited to watch it. But I really, really wish we were facing the Clemson team coming off of 8 wins and not the one
that would have been
nice. 10 with everybody returning and a playoff appearance. Like, Clemson even got off to a little bit of a slow start a year ago, and they turned it on late. It's just, man. You know what they should do? Not play the game, because it doesn't benefit you at all.
Yeah?
Gosh. Or schedule a week 0 game. Just do something to win your opener for once. It's been way too long. All right, we're set for a break, but first, a quick note on Parish Restoration.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean-smelling, fresh-smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. Parishrestoration.com.
All right, one thing left to do. We'll close out a Thursday edition of AFR with Jimmy Ott and Otterlocks. That's next. Stick around.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Hey, y'all. Mother's Day's on Sunday. You can go get mom roses, and they're going to die in a week. Or you can go to Clegg's and buy mom rose bushes to plant in front or back that will produce beautiful, bursting blooms for years to come that she can enjoy. Not sure what to get her? Cool. Go to Clegg's, get mom a Clegg's gift card. Let her choose what she wants. Maybe it's not flowers. Maybe it's any of the outdoor decor, like the tuned wind chimes, which are an amazing accent piece to any outdoor space. If you've never seen them, you got to go check them out. They got them at Clegg's Nursery. Sigourney Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Y'all, they've been serving Baton Rouge for more than 60 years. So get in your garden and just plant something and take care of mom with this Mother's Day at Clegg's Nursery.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Wrapping up Thursday edition of AFR. We're presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We're trying to link up with the Otter so we can close out the show with what we're betting on today. Keep trying him over there, see if eventually he picks up the phone. Been a good show, man. Really enjoyed this one. 3 hours kind of just flew by. And let me tell you, your boy needed that because he's been here since 6 a.m. this morning. Filling in on off the bench for Alondra. But really good show, man. Thanks to Ross Jackson. He came on, gave us a great preview of Saints minicamp. Rookie minicamp opened up today for New Orleans. Guys to watch making the team. Fair expectation for Tyler Shuck. If you want to listen to it, you missed it. It's on demand wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, YouTube as well. AFR On Demand presented by Brett Goff. Great chat with John Nabers, previewing the Arkansas series, and, of course, Kendall Rogers as well to start this hour. So, jam-packed show, and it was a blast. We'll wrap it up the only way we knew how. Let's find out what we're betting on. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Otterlocks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
So we welcome on the one and only Jimmy Ott. Otter, how's your Thursday?
Doing all right, Musso.
Good.
You know, another night, another Boston blown 20-point lead.
Bro. Bro.
What do you do? That's the beauty of live betting, though. Since the mobile betting has been active in Louisiana, it's like going to the golf course without a few key clubs in a bag. I mean, it is something you have to use. Listen, I understand everybody can't watch every second of every game, but there was, the first game, there was hedge/middle opportunities for about 90% of the game. Last night, about 90% of the game. So we're talking about 8, 9, 10-point middles that are available. So it zoomed right past the middles and get it. But that was the story of the night last night. Had leads in all of ours. You had plus 19.5 available at times with the Knicks. You had plus 800 money line available on Toronto. They blew a 2-run ninth inning lead last night. And the Winnipeg Jets, the Dallas was plus 270 at one point when they had the lead as well. But there was a rough night last night. But again, the live betting in the hedge middling could certainly soften the blow if you're paying attention. Let's get to it. We've got 5 picks tonight. Let's start in Major League Baseball. Philadelphia, one of their best pitchers, man. We know about Wheeler, and Wheeler's starting to get it going. The Philly bats are starting to get it going. They win the first 2 down in Tampa Bay. I like them tonight. Luzardo has been outstanding. Minus 155 on the road. I would even take a chunk of this and put it on the run line, minus 1.5, the road team. Okay. So Philly in that one. Dodgers coming back toward the West Coast from their Miami trip. Stop in Phoenix. Yamamoto is the Cy Young Award winner right now. Very early. I get it. Keens would be third at this point in the National League. But just a pitching advantage here for the Dodgers. Look, look for them to level off just a little bit, but not with Yamamoto, with Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez down to the IL. But they still got the big 3 at the top. And the Dodgers bounced back from that 1-run loss with a big win last night or yesterday afternoon. Take the Dodgers minus the 55 and sprinkle a little bit of that on a run line, minus 1.5, about even money. We're going back to the NBA. Well, we're going back to the favorites role. We're going back to the team that is trying to rebound. Now, one of them hit last night with Oklahoma City in a big way by 48. No Stephen Curry here. This is a good job by Golden State to hang on in that game. He's going to be out the next 2, maybe 3 games. So it's a big deal. Minnesota, nothing. And listen, their approach completely changed in the second half. They were settling for jump shots. Second half, Ant-Man really attacked the rim, and he was way better. Just too little, too late. So Minnesota minus the 10.5 at home. You get up by 20, and the Golden State starts to make a move. Try to middle it. And then in college baseball tonight, the line is not budged. Auburn's a big favorite, and they should be. Pulmonary South Carolina Gamecocks are fading at this point, even asking him fielding questions the first year of his 5-year deal about his job security. But they are not throwing Dutton tonight. The former LSU Tiger has been the ace for Auburn. They are keeping him on his Friday night spot. So you're going down the line. This line was baked in with Dutton as the starter. South Carolina's plus 340 on the money line. That game's getting ready to go in the SEC.
All right, those are your Otterlocks. Raffinos tomorrow, Otter?
Raffinos, baby. Friday, line of the week.
Line of the week. Y'all get by and see the guys. We appreciate it, Otter. Good luck.
Good luck.
Tune in more for tomorrow on AFR.
AFR.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be